Alright, so we're doing day 2 of our completing the square. Where'd it go? There it is. Okay. So last time we started with dividing and then square rooting, and when we square root, how many answers are there? 2. 2 plus or minus, right?
Yep.
Say what? Okay. Alright. What we're going to do today is when we have expressions that don't have a constant at the end. Okay, we got to add in our own constant so we can make a nice, pretty, perfect square. Okay? So to determine what that number is, all we do, you guys remember, we got the ax squared plus bx plus c. That's standard form. So we need to figure out what this c value is. Okay? We want to pick a nice one so we can get it in our perfect square parentheses. To figure out what that number is, all we do is take our b value, the thing attached to just x, and divide by 2. Okay? That's all we do to figure out that value. So, jumping right in. My b value, what's the number attached to x? 6. All I do is take 6 divided by 2. What is that? 3. The 3 is what's going to go in our parentheses, so if it asked, it doesn't, but just so, yeah.
So you got the 2 from the square root. Is that you got that?
The 2?
Yeah.
We just always divide by 2.
Oh,
Okay? So, we're not done with what it asks for, but in our parentheses, this 3, what you get when we divide by 2, goes in the back end of our parentheses. Okay? But when we FOIL it, what do I actually end up adding? I add 3 squared, right? So all I do is take this number and square it. So I ended up adding 9 to our equation. Okay? So 9 would be the c value if I FOILed it all out. Okay? The number that you get when we divide by 2 goes in our parentheses. Take that number, square it, that's what gets added. Okay? Kinda, sorta. Bless you. Alright. So what value is going to complete my square here? What do? Divide by 2. This time Molly said it, I got a negative 14. Divide by 2, so what's my number? Negative 7. To complete the square, I take negative 7 and do what to it? Square it. What's negative 7 squared? Positive 49. So that's the value that I want to add to this expression to make it a pretty one that can go in parentheses. What's up, bud? Okay. So we all know how to get the number that goes at the end? Take our b, divide by 2, square. Okay. Now we just got to take that one more step and do this little part up here, get it into that form. Okay? So the same thing, we are going to take, remember on Thursday, I said we don't want 0 equals 0, remember that? We don't want equals 0, we want a number over here. That's what we're going to do the same thing today. Okay? So to do that, let's just go through an example. What's wrong with my problem 5?
It equals 0.
It equals 0. What should I do with the negative 3?
Add it.
Add it. So I get 3x squared plus 18x equals 3. So that's part of what step 1 says. Step 1 says don't have it equal to 0. Okay? The other thing it says in step 1 is this last sentence. Divide all the terms of the equation by a coefficient of x squared. We want our x squared to be 1. Is it 1? No. So what do I have to divide by to get it to be 1? 3. So we're going to take this whole thing and divide by 3. Remember, that means each term has to be divided by 3, okay? Not just 1. So, my x squared becomes what? Just x squared, which is what we want. What happens with that 18x? We get plus 6x equals what? 1. Okay, how are we doing so far? Okay, don't want equals 0, and we want our x squared to be 1.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Can you divide it by 3 because of the x squared? Or
Yep, because the x squared is 3. Yep, you want to cancel this one. It just so happens that one cancels. Yep. Okay, step 2. It says complete the square by adding b over 2 squared to each side. Well, that's just what we did. What's my b in this equation? 6. So if I take 6 over 2, I get 3. And then I had to do what to it? Square it. What's 3 squared? 9. So I need to add 9 to each side. Okay? So I'm going to go x squared plus 6x plus 9 equals what I do to one side, I have to do to the other. I have my 1. Now I need to add 9. So we, yeah, I'm just doing it to show that. Wait, you can straight 10. That's fine. Okay, so we added 9 to each side. Are we okay there? Kinda, sorta. Okay, then just like Thursday, I'm gonna simplify my left-hand side. Now remember, I said that this number before you square it is what goes in our parentheses. Okay? Or just looking at this, I know my parenthesis is x plus 3 squared. Right? Because if I FOILed this out, I get my left-hand side, right? So this 3, if you don't want to think too hard, that's what goes in the back of our parentheses. Don't forget your square. And then, like Hayden said, I got equals 10. Okay. Is that okay? From there, we just solve like we did on Thursday. How do I get rid of this square? Square root it. When I square root, I have how many answers? 2. Plus or minus the square root of 10. Is the square root of 10 nice? No, I don't think so. Can I do what? If I want to get x by itself, what do I have to do with the 3? Subtract it. So I have x equals negative 3 plus or minus the square root of 10. You can leave your answers like that. You want to figure out what the square root of 10 is, add and subtract it. Just leave your answer like that. Okay. Okay. Is that okay? Do a couple more examples. Okay. Top of the page. It says I want the solution of 2x squared minus x plus 3 equals x plus 9. First off, we gotta make it look nice. I want all my x's on the left, all my constants on the right. So, we're gonna have 2x squared. If I move this over, how many x do I have? 1. Negative 1? 1x?
Negative 2x.
negative 2x, right? Negative x minus x gives me negative 2x. I want to move my coefficients to the right. Oh, what do I have over there? 6. Okay, step 1, all our x on one side, constants on the other side. Okay? Step 1, part 2. What do I want with my x squared? Divide by 2. I just want a 1 out there. So I divide by 2. So this simplifies to x squared minus x equals 3. So here's step 1. Okay. So far so good. Okay. What's up, Hunter?
Good.
Do you have a notes packet?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Where, Sean, did you? Alright. The next step. I gotta figure out what number I need to add to both sides to make it a perfect square on the left. I do that by taking what number divided by 2? Negative 1, yeah. Out here, this number is like a negative 1, right? So I take negative 1 divided by 2, and that is not pretty. You guys like fractions or decimals? Fractions. So it just stays negative half. Okay. To figure out what number I add, what do I do to that? Square it. What's negative 1 squared? 1. What's 2 squared? Negative 1/2 squared is 1/4. So that's what I'm adding to each side. Okay? So I have x squared minus x plus r 1/4 equals 3 plus 1/4. So add your squared value to each side. Is that step okay? Okay, next step, make the left a parentheses squared. So I'm going to have x minus, right? Their sign's a minus. What number goes back here? 1/2. The number that you squared. That also tells you what sign to use. So x minus 1/2 squared equals, let's turn 3 1/4 into 13/4. So this is just 3 plus 4. Questions with that step? Okay, from there we're just solving. How do I get rid of my squared? Square root. I have plus or minus square root of 13/4. Last step, I want x by itself. What do I do with 1/2? Add it. They won't all be ugly. Promise. Just sometimes. Not most of the time, just sometimes. Okay. Are there any questions? None? Lots? Okay. The 1/4. How do I know to add to each side? Take your b value, which is -1, divide it by 2, so we get -1/2, and then square it. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. All right. Something just a little bit different. We're going to put this into vertex form. Nice little reminder, vertex form is ax minus h squared plus k. That's vertex form. Okay. We're going to do that by completing the square. So same stuff, here's what we do. Are we ready? Of course. Okay, step 1, x is all on one side, constants on the other. So what should I do with the 6? Add it over. Y plus 6 equals x squared plus 3x. Okay. Now I need to figure out what number gets added to both sides. How do I do that? Yep, b divided by 2, which is 3, so 3 divided by 2, fractions or decimals? Leave fractions, okay. So we have 3/2 squared, what's 3 squared? 2 squared. Again, not so pretty, but we'll be okay. So remind me what I do with this 9/4? Add it to both sides, yes. So I have y plus 6 plus 9/4 equals x squared plus 3x plus 9/4. If you want to go ahead and simplify that 6 plus 9/4 in one step, that is up to you. Okay. Are we good there? Okay, let's simplify this. Y plus, let's see, we got 33/4 equals x. What number is going to go back here? Positive or negative? Yeah. Where did you get the 3/2 from? How do you know that? It's what I squared, yeah. That right there. Plus 3/2 squared. Just that b/2. Okay. Last thing I gotta do is get y back to itself because I want it in vertex form. So I'm just gonna subtract that 33/4. Okay. It asks what the vertex is. Flashback to last section stuff. What's my vertex? What's the x coordinate? What kind of 3/2? Negative. What's my y coordinate? Good. Negative 33/4. Okay. It also wants to know what my y-intercept is. Anybody know a really quick way to find our y-intercept? What should I plug in for x? 0. This is nasty. We don't want to work with there. Let's put it in here. If I put 0 in here, what do I get? -6. So we can use completing the square for a couple different ways. Finding zeros, putting it in vertex form. All your favorite things I know. Questions? Okay, we got one more. Same thing, I want to put this in vertex form. What's step one? Yeah, x's together, numbers together. So root 4, subtract it. Y minus 4 equals x squared minus 10x. What's next? Find our b and do what to it? How about we divide by 2 first? What's my b?
10x.
What kind of 10? Negative 10. So I got negative 10 and I do what? Divide by 2 and I get how much? Negative 5. Once I square it, I get 25. So am I adding negative 5 or 25 each side? 25, good. Add the squared number to each side.
Just add whatever you feel.
No, not whatever you feel. No. So we add 25 to each side. What number do I get on the left? What? 21? What's my parentheses gonna look like? X what? Minus 5. Where do you get the minus 5 from? Up top. The thing you square. Tells you the sign and everything. If I wanted to check, I could FOIL this out and I get the same thing there. Last step, gotta do what? Subtract 21. So y equals x minus 5 squared minus 21. Now we just gotta answer the questions. Question 1. What is my vertex? Positive or negative 5? Which one? Positive 5. 21 negative or positive? Negative. Why is it? The inside one is always opposite. So like the 5, when it's negative, goes right. Because that's just what our standard form is. The outside the parentheses is normal what you would. Okay, last one, y-intercept is what? Plug 0 in here, or just look at the last number and we get 4. Okay. Are there any questions? No. X is on one side, numbers on another side. Take your b, divide by 2.